and welcome back to the Unfiltered Sports Weekly. I'm the Beebs.
My name is the Keb.
And I am St. Joe.
Hey, I just want to say Happy St. Joseph's Day.
That's right.
You know, I mean, today is St. Joseph's Day, and I don't know if you saw Stupid History Minute put out a tweet in your honor and tagged you in it.
I did.
And put it out in their honor. But I actually learned something about Saint Joseph's Day, because I thought like Saint Joseph was just like a dude, that lived like maybe in the 1200s, somewhere in there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that we were talking about the Joseph.
Yeah,
that guy,
the actual dude.
Yeah, that guy,
the dude himself.
That guy who rolls up to a, that inn in Bethlehem, and he goes in and he's like, "Hey, dude, I need a room." And the guy's like, "Hey, sorry about you, we ain't got none." And he's like, "Dude, I really need a room." He's like, "I really would like to give you one, but I don't have a room." He's like, "Dude, my wife is pregnant. I need a room." He goes, "That's not my fault." And he goes, "Well, it's not my fucking fault either."
I didn't do it. Want to see a magic trick? Stick around.
Right.
Yeah.
Stick around.
How was your weekend? Good. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Tolerable.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody watch some basketball?
I did.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody
Lots of basketball.
How about those Washington Badgers or those
Oh,
Wisconsin
yeah.
Badgers?
They
Sorry,
did really good, and then they
Did you just
did
call
really
them the
good to
Wisconsin
beat.
Badgers?
I
They
called
did
it the
good to
Washington Badgers.
They did
The
good to
Washington.
beat Purdue. Heck of a game to beat Purdue, and then they got their butts handed to them in the final.
Yeah.
But
But
that's
they proved Purdue is beatable.
They
They-
proved
well.
Purdue is beatable, and they did it by fouling out three big men, and against Zach Edey, which very interesting that you can foul out three big men against one guy, and he doesn't have any fouls. Interesting. How does that go? So you have 15 fouls with three different players, and the one guy manages to not get five. Huh. Interesting.
Yes, provocative.
Interesting.
Yes.
So let's see. Is it scripted anyway?
So I know we're gonna get we got a lot of basketball to get into, but I gotta tell you guys this real quick, Beebs. Are you paying attention?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? I gotta tell you guys about this. I went to a couple spring training games over the weekend. Baseball's back. I'm gonna let basketball or college basketball get done before I totally kill you guys with a bunch of baseball junk. But I got to go to two games. First night we went to the Braves home stadium in Northport, Florida, and it was cool. It was cool to play the Pirates. Soon to be world famous wife. She's from Pittsburgh. I could care less about the Pirates. I didn't recognize anybody on their team. Outside of Andrew McCutcheon, who's played for the Pirates at least 7 different times. But that was cool. What I think, and the next day we went to the Orioles stadium and watched the Braves play the Orioles as a visiting team. What I would suggest that everybody do once in their life, and I've done it many times, but this time was just different, is go to a game where your team is the visitor. Okay? And make sure that other team is from the North, because they handle sports differently than we do. Okay? And I'll give you a fucking example. We were sitting row 5. How close is row 5? We could talk to the players when they were on the deck circle. Now, naturally, we chose to sit by the Braves dugout, right? So I don't know if you've heard of a guy named Austin Riley.
He's good.
If you haven't heard of him, he hit 42 home runs last year, and he played third base in the fucking All-Star game. Okay? So if you haven't heard of him, he is one of the reasons the Braves won the 2021 World Series. So he's on deck. And this fat motherfucker that's wearing orange, Okay, he's wearing orange. Orioles fan says to him, now Tyler Wells is pitching for the Orioles. I don't expect you guys to know who that is, but it's the Orioles' fifth starter. Anyhow, so Tyler Wells is pitching. He says to Austin Riley, who was on deck, hitting second, Forrest Wall was at bat. And he says, hey, Riley, Wells is going to strike you out. And Riley, being the nice guy that he is, very humble, he looks at the guy and he says, you know what? That very well may happen. He's a great pitcher. You know? So Forrest Wall grounds out. Riley goes up. They're heckling him. They're strike this bum out. Bum, right? Third or fourth in line for MVP last year. He's a bum. Anyhow, so he takes the first pitch, and this fat motherfucker. I know we're not supposed to fat shame anymore, but this dude need a fucking salad, man. Anyhow, so he's just going off at the mouth and going off at the mouth. You got soon to be world famous wife looking at me, going, "Don't." Please don't. And Austin Riley swings at the next pitch and deposits it about 25 feet over the center field wall. Rounds the bases, comes back, touches home plate, points at the fat motherfucker, and just gives him this smirk. And this guy continues to go on, heckling players the whole damn game, and he's not the only one. There's like 50 of them, right? And I'm just like, when did this become Springer? It's a baseball game. It's like Sean Murphy, the catcher, went out to talk to Spencer Strider. You got this guy in the stands going, "Hey, I got to pick up my kid from daycare," and we're like, "Dude, it's a Sunday." I'm just like, these freaking. And then the fat guy, he kept going on. Like 3 innings later, he said, "Hey, Ozuna, go strike out." And I look at him, and the wife's like, "Please don't." And I look at him like, "You understand what happened the last time you gave a batter instructions? You understand what happened there, And then he's like, "Well, your bum of a pitcher over here, my bum of a pitcher is throwing a 2-hit shutout." And the guy in front of me is like, "You seem to know a lot about the Orioles and Braves," and I'm
Too
like,
much.
no, I know a lot about baseball, And anyhow, so that was my Sunday with the fat motherfucker, And anybody, I mean, the dude seriously, like stereotypically large, like the before picture for a Weight Watchers commercial, I mean. He was just young. You know what? We were talking about this the other day. Why is it my fault that he's overweight? Why can't I say something? I've been overweight. I was 300 pounds. I made fun of myself.
Yeah.
It was my fault. I put the cookies in there.
Okay.
You can
I'm
say
just
whatever
saying.
you want.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
Thanks
say
for the
whatever you
update.
want.
Yeah. Spring training's fun. Everybody should go. Yeah.
It sounds like it was a pretty serious game.
I mean, as serious as a spring training game could go.
Yeah. Maybe it's a little bit early in the season for you to being too worked up about it.
I'm not worked up about. I could care less who won. I mean, we actually lost both games. And I was just like, yeah, but when they put people in who I've never heard of. I mean, it's bad. When I have to go, who's that? Because not only do I follow the Braves that closely, I follow the Gwinnett Stripers, their AAA team, and Columbus, formerly Mississippi, their AA team, because the AAA team plays the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. They're actually playing them first series here on Easter weekend.
Gotcha.
And Columbus, I don't know if you guys follow minor league baseball that well, but usually AAA is where they send people who are good enough to play in the big leagues. They just don't have a spot for them,
Right.
or it's a rehab league, and AA is typically where they develop players.
Right.
Yeah, typically, so you'll see some people jump from AA to the big leagues, a lot.
So, can I tell you who I felt most sorry for in that whole scenario there?
Probably soon to be world famous wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Because
Yes, exactly.
It's a long drive home. Well, not very long home, somewhat long from Atlanta. And I can imagine the
Well, we
whole
weren't in
way
Atlanta.
home.
We were in South Florida.
Oh, God. Okay. North, wherever the hell you were.
Yeah.
Long drive home, I can imagine, somewhat. And I can imagine the entire way home with the wheels turning in Kev's brain that he was thinking, you know what I should have said?
Yeah,
And
that's absolutely what
yep,
I was like. You know what I should have said to that motherfucker?
yeah,
I should, dude. You need to go to Subway. You need to do what Jared did. You
yeah.
know, I mean,
Oh, you don't want to do what Jared did.
Jared, you don't want to do what Jared did. He got caught.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about losing the weight. Get your fucking heads out of the gutter.
Wow.
Look at you. Look at you guys. You know,
Yeah.
I mentioned Jared immediately. You come up with pedophilia.
Well,
You
I
know?
mean, that is what he is in prison for.
Yeah,
Um,
he's not out yet.
no, he put a new definition of foot long. When you said you wanted to go to Subway for a foot long, it was a whole different ball game there. I want to be like Jared. Oh, really? Interesting.
How do we get talking about this? Why? Okay. Anyway,
We can go back and talk to.
Then you have the
talking
pictures.
about.
Remember when you had the old time commercials where the pitchers were batting a sub and they had the pitcher, they were batting a sub into your mouth. Ooh, that's a whole different commercial. Hey Jared, can you give me a foot long? Knock one in there. Ooh, interesting. Wow. Yeah, whole different ballgame.
I must have missed that.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna knock what was like blimpies or whatever they would do, and they
yeah,
would
that might have
knock
been a
the sub
Blinkies
out of the
commercial. Is that
park.
right?
They would knock the sub right out of the park, and they would do that, and they would be like, "Oh, I'm in the mood for yeah, okay, interesting, wow." But yeah, yeah. If I was the soon to be world famous wife, I would have been like, "Let me out here. I'll walk home."
You know what I was thinking about today being St. Joseph's Day is that you remember that time that Roger Wright asked you what your holiday was?
Oh yeah, you know what? We need to have.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, well, you know what, Roger? Here it is, buddy. It's fucking March 19th. You know, it's
Yeah.
St. Joseph's Day.
I wonder
You
what
know,
Roger was doing on St. Patty's Day. I
I
miss that guy. We need to. I wonder whatever happened to that dude. You know,
I
it's
don't
funny because he just up and disappeared, and they probably got a broken keyboard still. But yeah, that was
typing in all caps. You know,
that's an all-time mystery right there. It's funny that you bring that up. It's an all-time mystery of whatever happened to him.
wants to know what the Bieber guy is up to.
Well, what is the Bieber guy?
That Bieber guy. That's
That
right.
the Bieber guy? Maybe. I
you
mean,
were you were the Catholic, and and Beebs was the Bieber guy, and I was hey asshole.
yeah. I mean, the Olympics is coming up.
You might still
again.
be that. So
who knows? Who knows?
I can't wait for the Olympics because you always get some pornographic text from Beebs, and and
well, it's not the winter one, so you won't do it that way. But
yeah, but he'll ask me something obscure like, "Are you watching the Clean and Jerk?" And I'm like, "What?"
Yep.
first you clean, then you.
Yeah. I'll be like, man,
There's
I
gonna
mean,
be
not out in the open.
So, I do have a question for you because this weekend there was a big event out here, the TPC, the players.
Yeah, first back-to-back champion. We were talking about that too. That how there never been a back-to-back champion.
Yeah,
now
that
we got
was
our first. Yeah.
So, a couple things on that. Did you guys watch Full Swing, the Netflix series?
I watched the first season. I haven't watched the second season yet.
So I think I'm 3/4 of the way through the first season.
Okay, so you've watched almost the full first season.
I have a fundamental problem with that show. When you give a flaming douchebag like Brooks Koepka a full fucking episode, I mean,
I'm glad we made it full circle here.
You know.
Anyway, go ahead, St. Joe. I'm sorry you were interrupted.
Well, I mean, Brooks Koepka is a very good golfer.
You know what? You two can go fuck yourself. Okay.
I mean, he is a good.
We're only
golfer.
15 minutes into the episode, and we finally got.
I mean, So,
You
all
fucking
right.
people.
So I spent a lot of time out there, and spent a lot of time out there, and I got to tell you, it was very, very different. Um, Now there was a lot of competitive golf played. People were saying that it wasn't going to be as competitive. That was different. That there was some great golf. The crowds were definitely different because I don't think people knew who to follow because they don't really know the names unless you know golf. But I do have to say, if you've watched Full Swing, you knew who Wyndham Clark was. You knew who
Yeah.
he was very well. Um, you knew Ricky. Ricky had a tough time on the golf course this year. Rory did not do well. Justin Thomas did not do well. So you knew some of the big names did not do very well
Shoot,
at all.
Wyndham Clark, you could make the argument he's top 2 in the world. I mean, behind
Wyndham
Scotty
Clark,
Scheffler.
Wyndham Clark played very, very, very well. And one of the things that he does, and I'm not ruining anything, is that he's been working with a sports psychologist, a mental health coach to help him to just kind of get over his issues and get back into the game if he misses a shot or does something. And you can totally tell that completely helped him in a couple situations. And because he hit one, I don't know what he did on the 17th. It wasn't even close to the green. It went right in the water, but he just recovered, and I think he saved par with his drop that he got it, and it was good. But the way that they just recover and do things is amazing. But I have to tell you that going to the tournament is very much different than watching it on TV because I I was out there a lot. I didn't really watch as much golf as I really wanted to.
Yeah,
Um,
you're the kind of fucking people I hate. You go to a sporting event to fucking not watch a sporting event.
it's it's hard. I mean, on a Sunday, I bet you I maybe watched three, four golfers. Rest of
Look,
the time, I'm in the drinking pavilion, just drinking. I
I know
mean,
you're
that's it.
Catholic, and I know you got out of mass and shit, and you're like, let me hit the bar. I know that's how they bring you up in that particular,
Eh,
church.
So,
But I mean,
as
if you
as a
go to a
good Catholic
sporting event,
does.
if you go to a sporting event, I mean, you gotta, I don't know, watch the event.
I would
I
have a
mean,
hard time on a Sunday at Sawgrass not just following
Yeah,
or at least
but
planting myself on a hole and watching every single golfer play that hole.
he did, but he planted himself on the 19th hole,
yep, I did. I
and
planted
Can you
myself
see can you
firmly
see
on the
other
19th
holes
hole.
from can you see holes from the pavilion? From the
Oh
drinking
yeah,
pavilion?
I could
oh well,
see.
there's
I could see the
pavilions
18th
everywhere.
fairway. I could
Yeah.
see the 16th fairway. I could see people walking up, but mostly I could see the bar and the bottom of my glass.
There's a spot, Beebs, where you can see him coming up 16 on the 16 green and tee off on 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
Man.
could. Yeah, I mean, without having to move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I got an offer from a really good friend twice this weekend to come hang out with him at the TPC, and both times I had to tell him like I didn't say I couldn't on Sunday, but I couldn't get out there at the right time. So I had to turn him down, unfortunately. And the other time, my parents were in town, and we were at the beach when he called me. So I felt bad, and I thought maybe while we're live, I should apologize to that friend of mine. So if
What
you're
a
out there, friend,
jackass! What a jackass! We heard for 2 weeks. Oh God, I really, really want to go to the tournament.
I
Anything
really
I can
do.
do. Oh, what? It's all
And
right.
and
Whatever,
I had a
man.
friend make it happen, and I was like, oh man.
Whatever. I mean, it's fine. It'll be next year. Whatever happens, it's fine. But
Well, now that we're doing the Unfiltered Sports Weekly, we should have done a live episode there if we had been thinking on our toes, right?
hard to do there
Yeah.
because the reception is not very good there
Oh
because
no.
18 million
Okay.
people are trying to get on the score and do things, and it's hard. But um, it's an interesting venue for sure. It's definitely
Mhm.
one to see. I mean, this. So when I walked up and I volunteered out there, I walked up at 6:30 in the morning.
Ugh.
Um, and there was nobody there. That is the coolest thing in the world because they're getting the greens ready, they're putting the hole placement, they're mowing in the dark. It's the craziest thing. It's so silent and surreal, and you're walking up and you're like, this is cool. Before the whole rush, before everybody gets there, it was just super cool. And then because
Actually,
this whole thing is going to be crowded with people, and
yep.
it's kind of neat.
I read somewhere that the TPC at Sawgrass is, aside from the Masters, the best golf venue that they've ever been to.
Waste management is pretty that whole because of the rowdiness is everything is
It's
definitely
actually
holding.
called the Phoenix Open.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
We were
but
corrected by Jay
yeah,
from the Two Penny, and I mean, if somebody's going to correct you on golf, that's the guy.
yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
You know,
But I mean, I
Mhm.
would think that there's a couple like St. Andrews. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple venues that are up there, but I mean, the 17th green is definitely one of the most beautiful holes in golf. Um,
what a lot of people don't realize, I know you guys do too, but for our listeners, what you don't realize is that the Masters isn't a PGA Tour event. Okay, it's an invitational
mhm,
by Augusta National. Okay,
mhm.
the PGA Championship is held by the PGA of America. Okay, that's a totally different thing than the PGA Tour. The U.S. Open is by the USGA, and the Open Championship, formerly known as the British Open, is by the Royal and Ancient Golf Club. So the Players Championship is the PGA Tour's marquee event.
Right.
You know, it's their biggest event that the PGA Tour puts on, and to have it in our backyard is pretty special.
It is definitely
You
it
know,
is, and it's a huge money. I mean, Scotty Scheffler got 4.5 million.
yeah. I
I mean,
remember
that
when
is
the
Yeah,
a
winner
that's
got
huge.
like
Yeah,
I remember
absolutely.
when the winner got like $500,000.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a huge. So to have back to back, now that is a interesting because that putt that Wyndham Clark, circled around. I mean, that was a
Oh man, that
four and
was
a half million
devastating.
dollar putt.
Yeah,
He's still got 2 million. The three people were 19 under, got 2 million, 2 million, 2 million. But still, I mean, that's a $2.5 million putt. That's big. That's a big putt. Uh,
call me
So is there
crazy. I
any?
don't feel sorry for him though. Yeah, I
No, me
oh,
mean,
I'm,
neither.
I,
the man plays golf for a living.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Is
I
there
mean, that's yeah. I'm with you, but that's a big swing for half an inch, a quarter of an inch that cup was. It literally went in the cup and out. I mean,
right?
oh,
well, so aside from Wyndham Clark, I'm fairly certain Scotty Scheffler is maybe the best golfer we're going to see for a long time right now.
he gave it a run to come back from where he was to end up 20 under.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, -8, I think he shot, right? He was 12 under, I think he started and ended up 20. I mean, that was an impressive run on that last day to come out where he was and end up back to back.
I
Pretty
think
impressive.
he's certainly going to be the best until they finish, putting the Live and the PGA back together,
Yeah.
and
I keep hearing that that's going to happen, but I'm just
yeah,
wondering.
I don't know. I think Monahan probably has some fundamental issues with getting in bed with the Saudis,
They
which
had some meetings, but it'll happen sooner or later, but they can't figure out what they're going to do and how much they're going to pay people and what they're going to do. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, but people don't want, the players don't want to play more tournaments. They just want to play better tournaments. They want it to be competitive golf. Um, it's not about the number of tournaments. I think that was the biggest thing with the live people is they're like, hey, let me go. I can go play less golf, make more money. Why not?
A lot more
S-
money.
yeah, a lot more money. So it's a win-win. I get to spend more time with my family. I don't have to be on the road and do all this. I don't know how many play 6 or 7 tournaments or whatever and make a ton of money. Great. Um, so they got to figure that out. And if they don't play as many tournament events, and maybe they have bigger prize pools or something for more. I mean, the majors are always going to be big, but I mean, this is widely considered the PGA the players is widely considered the fifth major because of the prize money. and people want to be here. So there's going to be something that happens about it. But
Yeah.
they'll figure it out. But I
Alright.
needless to say, I thought that it was interesting. There was a ton of people. It was a great weekend. Weather was phenomenal. It was good. It worked out well for him. So glad to see, like you said, it's right in the backyard. It's great. So
So over the weekend, a certain player from Chicago was traded to the Steelers.
oh yeah, I knew that was going to come up too.
Um,
Yeah,
and I
that's
can't
just a
believe that they
ridiculous thing.
I can't believe they traded him for so little.
So
I
they
thought he
got
was way better than that.
Yeah,
that just
the
blows
Bears
my
got
mind.
fucking hosed on that trade, man.
Why did they
So
make that trade? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, the Steelers definitely won that trade.
So
I
they
mean,
trade him to the Steelers to be a backup. They get a sixth round draft choice that could potentially be a fourth round, depending on the playing time that Fields gets.
well, if
So,
the history of the Bears is any consolation, whether it's a fourth or a sixth round, they're still going to fuck up the draft pick, so it really doesn't matter.
so
Ooh.
my inkling with that trade, that is, they're just going to throw that compensatory or whatever you want to call it pick. They're going to bundle that up with something else and trade that pick away. I mean, that pick is meaningless. So that just says to me that they really, really, really wanted to get rid of Justin Fields. I mean,
I don't think he was happy. Certainly. Why would you be? Like, I think he's good enough to start in the NFL for the right team.
yeah, he's
I really do.
definitely good enough to be a starting quarterback, I think. But
You got to
man,
love the messaging from the Steelers, though, right away, right? Like, Justin Fields will not be competing for the starting job with
yeah, they're
Russell
like, okay,
Wilson.
great, you got traded, but Russell Wilson is going to be our quarterback. So good luck sitting
Well,
on that.
I thought I was sitting there thinking, well, what the heck? Justin Fields had way better stats than Russell Wilson over the last 2 seasons, didn't he?
I don't know, but I
Well,
mean,
yeah, but I mean, you got to look at Justin Fields had DJ Moore
yeah,
and fucking Russell Wilson had Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton. I mean, DJ Moore's way better than those two guys put together.
yeah,
You know,
Cortland Sutton's pretty good.
he's good if you're in the red zone. He's great at catching touchdowns. If you're on the fucking 40, he fucking drops a goddamn ball. Trust me, I had him on my fucking fantasy team. I traded that bitch. But DJ Moore is the real deal. I mean, you give DJ Moore 2 seasons, he might be, the one of the best wide receivers in the game.
Well, and then you look at the
He's
Bears.
really good.
What the Bears needed to do was shore up some of the offensive line, give him another receiver,
Right.
do a couple
you thought-
things, and they're like, okay. And what did they do? They got
They
rid of their
didn't get anything.
quarterback. They shored up some of the offensive line, and they got another receiver. And I'm like, so you did everything that you needed to do when you had Justin Fields, but then you let him go, and now you're doing it. So,
Well,
I
you're
don't.
basically it's a huge gamble.
Well, you're setting
Whereas,
up and writing everything. If they truly are going to draft Caleb Williams and they're saying this is the guy, I mean, he either walks into a situation and says it's ready made, here it is, and you're going to roll with it, or um,
did the Bears get a new offensive coordinator?
2 years ago.
Yeah, but the one last year was
Doesn't
wasn't he-
Eberflus call the plays?
Eberflus was calling them, but then halfway
yeah.
through he decided that no, I'm not going to call. He's just
Yeah.
going to let the
We're,
offensive.
we're not scoring, so I'm just going to,
Right.
send it over here so we can blame this guy.
Right.
Over here. Yeah, I love it when
Right.
they fucking do that. That's why Doug Peterson doesn't call the plays anymore because they fucking
Yeah.
blow, and he wants Press Taylor to fucking
It's,
take the blame.
It's Getsky, Luke Getsky.
Luca Brazzi sleeps with the fishes.
Yeah. So, but that was also that was the third offensive coordinator, the third offense that Fields had to learn in 3 years.
Yeah, that spells disaster.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
What's funny is he had that going on, and he still put up pretty good numbers for young guy.
He put up really good numbers. So it's like, I don't know. And I mean, he was hurt definitely for some, but I mean, whatever, man. I mean, I, I don't know. I guess I've got to get on the Caleb Williams train because it clearly looks like that is what they're going to do. But
Well,
I don't like it.
for my marriage's sake, I hope Russell Wilson and/or Justin Fields does really well. Because I have this is gonna fucking shock you guys. I have an inability to shut my fucking mouth. So when the Steelers are losing, I like to point out why. And for my wife, the ultimate Steelers fan, that's not really a good thing because then she'll come back and point out why the Jaguars are losing. And then I'm always reminded that my ex-wife could not care less about sports, and I was just like, what a freedom that used to be, where my wife is extremely knowledgeable about sports, and it's like in that Big Bang where they're talking about football and Sheldon busts up with
How the hell did you know that?
They're like, Sheldon knows football. Yeah, people get shocked at how much my wife knows. And she's like, and my best friend, man, she knows a lot for a girl. And I'm like, she knows more than you, and so for my marriage's sake, I hope Russell Wilson and/or Justin Fields learns how to throw to George Pickens because that's how you win and
That's
play
how
defense.
you win. Just win,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
What's even funnier is that Kenny Pickett said, "See you later, I'm gone." And then Trubisky said, "Hey, you know what? I'm out of here too." And he went to Buffalo.
Okay,
So-
Trubisky, there are high school quarterbacks better than that fucking guy. Okay, that dude blows chunks. He blows sheep. Okay, he is not very good. Mason
Kev,
Rudolph
you're-
was better than him.
Kev, you are in fine form tonight. Fine.
Aren't
I
I?
just,
This
I
is
mean,
what happens when I get to go watch baseball.
I just,
Yeah.
You're going
I
again
just
this
don't
weekend, right?
see-
No, I'm going to Atlanta, but not for baseball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Different reasons. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, was there anything else? Did Jacksonville get somebody too? Did I see?
Oh, he's just signed a kicker.
Oh, did we?
Armis,
We got Eric Armstead. Eric
yeah.
Armstead from the 49ers.
Yeah.
Almost. I mean, they were in talks. My sources down at the stadium, from full press coverage, told me that they were in actual talks with Brandon Ayuk, to trade for him. But what the 49ers wanted was our first round pick this year and Zay Jones.
Nope.
And the Jaguars said no. You can have one or the other.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, both.
Because I mean, it's kind of like the Bears. It doesn't really matter how many picks or which pick that the Jaguars have. Trent Baalke's going to fuck it up anyway. So I mean, it doesn't matter. The draft is a non-issue for Jaguar fans. I mean, what was it? 2015, we had the third fucking pick. We're like, we're going to get a good fucking player, and they picked Blake fucking Bortles. I mean. And you might be sitting back there. Well, Blake Bortles took you to a AFC Championship game. No, a really good defense took us to an AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
How about Mike Williams?
Yeah, did we get
I thought the Jags should get him.
I thought the Jags should have gone.
Yeah,
after Mike Williams,
because
too.
he's tall, he's big, and he's experienced. And some would put him on the Mike Evans level. And I thought that we should have gone after him. I think, to my knowledge, he's still a current free agent, right?
No, he signed.
Who did he sign
He
with?
went to. I just saw it come across. I want to say he might have gone to the Saints.
Oh, that's a pickup. Well, I mean, they got, David Carr, who can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, Derek Carr. David Carr was his brother. That was
Um,
way better than him.
Oh God. I want to say it was.
Was there any noises out of Denver? There's something's going to have to happen in Denver.
Yeah, they're going to go after Drake Mayer, Jaden Davis.
Jets. He went to the Jets. Jets.
Hey,
hired
look out
Williams
for the
1 year.
Jets. Look out
They're
for
gonna
the
be good.
Jets.
Well,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers comes back. We'll see. And
Yeah,
then Jerry Jeudy. he got
Aaron Rodgers, the guy, he's going to be vice president, though, right?
yeah, $41 million for Judy. That's crazy
Ooh,
for
that was a
3
lot.
years. That's a lot.
Jerry
Yep.
Judy ain't worth that. That's almost like the
No.
$94 million they give Calvin Ridley. He ain't worth that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I know we're gonna get to the brackets, but hang on one second. Talk amongst yourself for a few minutes. I got a question for you guys to see if you can do it. So, um,
To see if we can do
To
it.
see if we can do
yeah,
what?
just talk amongst yourselves.
I guess we do it anyhow. So down at spring training, Veeps, I go into the store.
Okay.
Yeah. What you know what though? What I learned, because like old school, like when I was a kid, me and my dad would go to spring training. Yeah, they played the spring training games in like a minor league stadium, like that was used during the minor league season.
Mhm.
And now they have these complexes, like campuses that are built that aren't used the rest of the year. They're rehab facilities. So if, let's just say, Ronald Acuna gets hurt like he always does, he'll go to Northport to rehab. And there's like 10 fields, and then the stadium they play the games in, but there's like offices. There's like, we were looking at there where the pitchers practice. It's like a bullpen, but it's like 10 mounds like right next to each other. It's really cool.
Hmm.
And it was just a whole complex. And I was talking to the lady in the clubhouse store, and she's like, yeah, we're open year round. And she's like, we pay rent year round. So we might as well be open.
Makes sense, right?
And it was just as good of a clubhouse store that you find in the Battery in Atlanta. I mean,
Wow.
just as good. But it had spring training shit and Braves regular stuff. But I mean, it still costs $200 to get a jersey. But
Seems
yeah,
like a lot.
It is a polo shirt, and those things are like $145.
Hmm.
A
It's
dry
like
fit
going.
polo.
It's like going to the clubhouse at a golf course to buy golf balls.
Oh.
Exactly. I mean,
You should have
go to the
seen-
players, you get one. I mean, it's the same thing.
You should have seen the prices at the players. It was insane.
Yeah.
I worked. That's where I was in the volunteering in the fan shop, and the most. There was a guy that came in that spent $8,500. I mean, it's all business. They write it off
Right.
and they do things, and it's like. But I'm like, oh, it's just you would buy 2 or 3 things and it's $400, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's just ridiculous.
I mean, it's
And-
almost like there's this thing called inflation
Oh,
that's driving the price of shit up. I mean,
I
I
did
don't
that.
know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you guys know more than I do. I don't watch TV, or listen to the radio, read the paper, anything like that. Do people still read papers?
yeah, my father-in-law likes to get a paper, which is crazy, but.
They still
All right,
print 'em?
so here it is. So let's see. We're going to test your football knowledge a little bit here and see between the two of you, because I can't play because I have it in front of me.
Bring it on.
We're going to go. Oh, let's go back. Let's 2023. Let's see if we can go 15 years and see if you know. Top number 1 overall picks for the last 15 years.
In the NFL.
NFL.
This is gonna be difficult.
All right. So who was last year?
Who?
Really?
Okay, hang on. Who picked? Who was the number one?
Oh,
it was Bryce Young.
Bryce Young,
Okay.
yeah.
Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Out of Alabama. Year before that,
Trayvon Walker.
out of Georgia. The year before that,
Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson. All juniors, mind you. Okay.
Yeah.
Year before that, in 2020.
Who
Tua?
picked?
Tua?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Now, who picked?
Cincinnati.
Joe Burrow.
Burrow.
Yeah, see, it gives it away then. Joe Burrow out of LSU. 2019. Beebs, you should be all over this.
It's not Baker Mayfield. It's Kyler Murray.
Okay, 2018.
Sam Bradford.
Baker
Baker
Mayfield.
Sam Bradford.
Okay. Back-to-back Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield just signed a $100 million contract. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
2017.
Before Baker.
Who picked?
Cleveland Browns.
Was that
Oh, Garrett.
Yeah,
Myles
Myles
Garrett?
Garrett. Myles Garrett. Yeah.
Yep. 2016,
Yeah, if I don't know the team, there's not.
the
Yeah,
Rams.
What was the Rams? 2016.
Yep.
Boy.
Was it Cooper Cup? No,
Nope.
wasn't Cooper Cup.
Number one.
They traded for Ramsey. Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
2015, Tampa Bay Bucks.
Jameis Winston.
He loves
Yeah.
his lobster, his crab lobster,
Crab legs or whatever.
Yeah, crab legs, whatever. Yep, Jameis Winston.
Yep.
2014, Texans.
Was it?
Watt?
It wasn't Jadeveon Clowney, was it?
It was
It was
Jadeveon
Jadeveon
Clowney.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
2013, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Mahomes. No, Mahomes hadn't
Mahomes
been
wasn't
around
our
that
number
long.
one.
Yeah.
Alex Smith.
Nope.
No, Alex Smith came from the 49ers.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was a Raider.
He was a number one pick, though. Alex Smith was a number one pick, but he was just a pick for the 49ers. Damn, who? Chris Jones?
No. It was an offensive tackle.
Well, he's not there anymore, probably.
Eric Fisher.
Oh, okay.
What was it?
Eric Fisher.
Don't know who that is.
Yeah,
I think
I don't know.
I think he got hurt.
Out of Central Michigan. I couldn't tell you who that is, but 2012, the Colts.
Andrew Luck.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
2011, the Panthers.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton.
That is correct. 2010, St. Louis Rams. St. Louis Rams.
Sam Bradford.
Sam Bradford.
That is correct. 2009, Detroit Lions.
Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford.
Yep.
Yeah.
2008, the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, Ricky Williams.
Nope.
No, that was the Saints.
That's yeah.
Dolphins.
I would not have
Was it a
known this.
lineman? Was it a lineman?
It was an offensive
Yeah.
lineman.
I don't know.
Jake Long.
Oh yeah, Jake Long. Yep.
That's
Out of
Howie Long's kid.
That is
Out of
right.
Virginia. Out of
Yeah.
How
Virginia.
about this one? We talked about this guy. 2007, Oakland Raiders.
Wow. Was it the dude from
No,
LSU?
it's Jamarcus Russell.
it
Yeah.
Marcus
was.
Russell?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
2006, Houston Texans.
Is it David Carr?
It's not.
No, it's Mario Williams.
Yes, it is.
Williams.
Mario
Yep.
Williams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mario Williams.
2005, 49ers.
Alex Smith.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
2004, San Diego Chargers.
Drew Brees.
No.
No, the running back.
No, it was actually Eli Manning,
That is correct.
Oh.
and then they traded the pick to New York
Well,
That
that's
is
20.
correct.
That's 20
and
years.
got Phillip Rivers.
That's 20 years. So I mean, you guys did pretty good.
Only if we knew the teams. There was no way I was going to know that without the teams. There was just
Yeah.
simply no way.
That's pretty funny. I mean, you go back and you go. So I mean, if I would say, let me go back to, boy, we weren't even around. So I mean, 1974 is Ed Too Tall Jones, and I mean that now you're getting pretty tough.
Well,
But
that was fun.
86 was Bo Jackson
Yeah.
for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So
would not
I have
know
a
that the
question.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafted Bo Jackson.
So I have a question, Saint. Well, didn't Bo Jackson originally go play in the USFL?
I believe that's true.
You know,
What?
because I know Jim Kelly did, and there are a bunch of them. Because the USFL is who actually started paying the players stupid amounts of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it was basically run by Donald Trump. You know,
That's
and
crazy.
he was the owner of the New Jersey Generals, and sued the NFL for a monopoly, and actually won. And his settlement was $1.
Wow, that's
There's
just,
like a 30
yeah,
for 30 on that.
that's
Yeah.
just crazy. I love stuff like that. If you can name
Who
number ones,
who
but-
killed the USFL? Is that what it was called?
Something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so let's get into the brackets.
Hey, I
Yeah.
have a question for you, Beebs.
No.
You really like that shirt, don't you?
All American Hero.
Okay.
I figured I'd wear it every time I'm on camera now.
Okay.
Greatest American hero.
I'm saying, believe it or not, George isn't at home. You know?
Yeah, man.
Little
right.
Seinfeld joke for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I see you guys filled out brackets. However, I'm not able to see your brackets until it actually starts.
Okay.
Good.
Who did you pick to win it all?
Oh, it's a secret.
Okay, so
come on.
on my bracket that I you do one bracket where it's safe and then you
Yeah.
do the other one where you got to pick some upsets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the one that everybody should go with is the one where cuz upsets are going to happen. A 12's going to beat a 5, an 11's going to beat a 6. You know, hopefully a 16 takes out a 1 because that's just pandemonium and misery loves company. You know, so that's the one I'm going with, and in that one, I picked Tennessee to win it all.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
I think that is brave.
Yeah, I picked in the final game. I have Tennessee and Iowa State.
Oh
You know
my
what's funny?
God.
I picked Iowa State to win it all. And
Yeah.
the reason I picked that team was because of how they entered the tournament.
Yeah.
They beat the number 1 team in the land by 30 points in their last game.
You know, you talk about these conference tournaments, and you talk about a lot of times for these schools that were on the bubble, like I'll take Mississippi State,
Yeah.
or something like that. Sometimes a perfect storm has to happen for them to pass the eye test and on Selection Sunday get in. In the SEC tournament, that happened because Tennessee got their ass kicked. And they're out. Kentucky got their ass kicked. They're out. Florida beat Alabama. They're out. And then and South Carolina lost, and really the only people that you had to deal with was Auburn, who won it.
Auburn's
good. And Auburn's really good. Bruce Pearl cheats his way to a good team everywhere he goes. So I mean, he got run out of Tennessee. They were top 3 in the country. Going to the Final Four, recruiting violation. He's no better than fucking John Calipari. So
easy.
But these schools like I was watching the Atlantic Sun and Stetson, gets in because the perfect storm happened there. Jacksonville takes out the 1 seed, they're the 2 seed, they get to get in. They may have beaten the 1 seed, who knows? But these teams and teams like Iowa State, teams like, dare I say, Florida, are playing good at the right time.
How about NC State?
They're
Did you guys
playing
watch
good
that
at the
game?
right time, yeah.
They won 4 games in a row, and each of them was against a ranked opponent.
Yeah.
And in the final game, they beat UNC. They beat Duke and UNC. So
I think UNC might have been looking ahead a little bit.
maybe.
You
They
catch
were in
that
the
a
game.
lot. You catch that a lot because I don't know if you guys watched the Tennessee game, in the SEC tournament. It just looked like Tennessee didn't want to be there. It just looked like they had better things to do, and
They certainly didn't look like they were playing. That's for sure.
and then when Florida's beating Alabama by 20, I was texting back and forth with my son. We're down in Northport, and I was texting back and forth, and I'm like, look, we're up by 20. I still think the Gators are going to lose.
Right.
There's 8 minutes to go. A lot can happen.
Certainly when they played Auburn, there was a moment there where they took the lead, didn't they?
Yeah,
In the second half? And
yeah.
then just Auburn just went with it.
You can, for the Gators, you can bank on they're going to have like a 4-minute, 4 clock minutes where they just don't score. To
that's
where
what I noticed.
every
They do
game, and most of the time it's in the first half because if you ever look at first half versus second half, they'll be down by 5 in the first half, and then in the second half you're like, wow, the Gators won by 15, I'm proud of them. Todd Golden's second year there, bringing him out of the Mike White debacle. I'm proud of him.
What do you two do with Houston? University of Houston.
I think
They've
I have
had
them in
a
the Final
pretty
Four.
good they have had a pretty good season. My trouble is their coach is Kelvin Sampson, and he doesn't have a reputation of his teams showing up at really big moments. So, I mean,
I got them in the Final Four.
I think I have them in a Final Four on one of my brackets, but I do not have them winning at all. I think I have them meeting Kentucky and then losing to Kentucky in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I got you.
In one of my brackets, I have them in the final, losing to UConn.
Yeah, that was my
for this Final Four, real quick.
Yeah,
you're gonna think I'm fucking nuts. Iowa State, Baylor, Houston, and Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't think you're nuts. Those are all good teams. I mean, they are so like Iowa State is definitely now. Granted, they've done this before where they are on a roll and they'll make it to like the Sweet 16 and just lay an egg. So I mean, but they are on a roll. They looked so good in their tournament. And then Tennessee, that's an interesting one. They have the best player in the country on their team, and he can score whenever he wants. Sometimes, most of the time. You run into a team, I fear. Now, do they play? Here was the curveball in the bracket for me. Was you have a 10-10 game. A 10 versus 10. Are they playing tonight or do they play tomorrow? It's a play-in game. And it's a 10 versus a 10.
They're tonight, right?
And they're playing, it's Virginia versus what? Colorado?
Right.
What terrifies me about that game is Virginia can beat anyone because they play really good defense.
Tony Bennett.
And that's right. And so if you play really good defense in the tournament, you can win. And that first round game, they have, who are they playing in the first round game? If they win the game against Colorado, they will play, let's see here. If they beat Colorado, they will be playing some team that they could beat. That's the thing is like they can move for Texas. They could play Texas, right?
It's Colorado State and Virginia.
Right. So I think Virginia wins that game. And in my alternate bracket, I have them playing Tennessee in the second round, and that game terrifies me if I'm Tennessee. Because Virginia doesn't have a bunch of scorers, but they do just enough to win games, and it doesn't matter who they play. That's a team that scares me in a tournament. That's one of those bracket busting teams. You know what I mean? Like they're a 10 seed, but they could beat anyone. So, did you guys have any major upsets? Your 11s, your 6 and 11 games? Those are the ones that I always have. You know, what is it? 2 or 3 of them are upsets.
So I picked UAB to beat San Diego State.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I had that
that's
one.
a 12 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Hold please. I think that's the biggest upset that I picked.
I don't have any upsets.
I picked Nevada well, you're gonna lose.
No, I'm not.
Nevada over Dayton. I mean, I don't count a 9 over an 8 as really an upset. It's kind of a pick 'em. You know.
Well, so that Oregon South Carolina game was one I chose. I chose Oregon because that coach has been in 8 tournaments and he's never lost the first round game of a NCAA tournament. So I chose him just simply because Oregon's usually a decent team.
I took Oregon over South Carolina as well.
I just know South Carolina didn't have a great end of the season, right? Yeah. So, and then I didn't know what to do with Clemson. I didn't know what to do with Clemson because that's another 6-11 game.
You know who the 5-12 upset could be? James Madison over Wisconsin.
No, I don't think so. I think Wisconsin's playing good at the right time. That was another one. I had Wisconsin. You'd be proud of me saying, Joe, I had Wisconsin all the way into the Sweet 16.
Kansas over Purdue could happen. I have Florida over Marquette.
The problem with Kansas is they have major injuries.
Yeah.
Their 2 best scorers are injured.
I have Florida over Marquette and Kentucky over Texas Tech, and then I have Florida moving on.
Okay.
So Florida facing,
I'm telling you, UF has got some shooters, man. We
yeah,
got some players, and we got some big guys too that can rebound.
Yeah,
Who do I
I
have?
watched a couple. I
Yeah.
think I texted you, Kev.
Yeah,
I was watching
Oh.
the game, and their two of their big guys were just super athletic
Yeah.
and could dunk over anybody.
Yeah.
And I was
Well-
like, whoa,
They've actually got 4 of them, but they only put 2 of them on the court at the same time.
right.
You know, but and on the defensive side of the ball, one of them will go to block the shot, and the other one, if you look, he'll just turn and he's looking for the ball. You know, and so they're not both trying to block the shot.
Then they get their butts handed to them because they run into Houston. That would not be good.
Right. That's a tough one. The other one I had was who's Texas Tech play in the round of 64? That was a 6-11 game, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Um,
There it is. NC State. See, that was a game I chose NC
Yeah.
State. And the reason I chose NC State is because they went on a run and it was magical. I mean, like I watched them play Duke. They lost to Duke and then they lost to UNC. And then they just they turned around and beat those two teams in the tournament. So I was a little bit shocked. But the last time an NC State team with a record like that won an ACC tournament was 84 with
Jimmy V.
Jimmy V, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe there's another magical thing waiting to happen, but I had them going to the Sweet 16.
Leprechauns are magical.
That's true.
I have Clemson beating Baylor.
That is an upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baylor didn't have the best tournament either.
No.
So
Alabama, St. Mary's. That's a tough game.
St. Mary's is good this year.
Yeah, I have Alabama beating them. There's a couple. I have a couple.
So did you enter your second bracket the kind of I call it the throwaway bracket, but it's funny sometimes the throwaway bracket does better. Just
Anybody who uses the bracket predictor is cheating. They're cheaters. If you use the bracket predictor, just pick them. You're not gonna do good. It's gonna be, but next week we're all gonna be like our bracket's fucked. You know,
but we have healthy participation in the bracket challenge from the studio. I think we have 4 or 5 people from the studio in there. So looking forward to seeing how I think one of our competitors or one of our people from Unfiltered Studios chose their teams based on which mascots they like the best.
Well, the
So-
number ones are just too strong. I mean, it's pretty.
Did you pick 4 number 1s in the fucking Final Four?
I have 3 number ones in one of them, and I have 1 number 1 in the other one. So
A better conversation is, what's the first number 1 to get beat?
I don't know. It's I don't know. That's why I love it. I love it.
Yeah, who's the
Whoa.
weakest number 1?
The weakest number 1 is North Carolina, I think.
Yeah.
don't
Yeah, are they a number 1? I
They're
guess.
number 1.
Yeah.
So it's Houston,
Yeah, I
North
think-
Carolina.
Yeah.
Purdue, I think they are well deserving.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm
I
not
think
saying
Purdue and UConn. I have Purdue and UConn meeting. I have UConn winning in one and Purdue winning in the other.
so it's Houston, Purdue, UConn, UNC, and I
think UConn is going to be the first number 1 beat.
But they're
I
don't know.
probably
That's a tough
30% of people pick UConn to win it all.
UConn
Yeah.
has the easiest route.
You know what, St. Joe, in my 48 years, almost 49 years on this earth, I could tell you that there's a lot of dumb fucks out there.
Well, they'd be
Yeah,
repeat champs, and it's
yeah,
not.
you know what I'm saying?
There would be
Yeah.
repeats, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, there's a lot
happened
of
once.
dumbass motherfuckers out there.
Yeah,
What's
I
happened
don't.
once?
I mean, it could happen, but I don't see them being repeats.
Man,
they're
they
good
have
teams.
got
Here's a great trivia question. Who was the last repeat champion?
Gators.
The
So.
Florida Gators.
But UConn has the players to do it.
They
Sure.
do.
Sure.
They
They
do
are
have the
good.
players to do it, but I
They're
don't know.
good and they're
They've
scary.
proven this year that they're beatable. Creighton beat them. I mean,
They haven't played
I
in
don't know.
down the stretch. They haven't played any really good teams. I'll be real
Tournament ball is
honest.
so different, though.
You
Yeah.
know who is the biggest underachiever in the history of this tournament? And I'm trying to see what seed they are, if they're even in here. I think they're in here.
Gonzaga? No, sorry.
Gonzaga is the biggest underachiever.
I don't
Yeah,
think
they
they're
play
in there.
McNeese. They're
do they?
5-12.
Okay.
You know, and I picked Gonzaga to win, but then I picked them to lose in the fucking
So you think
round of
Gonzaga's
32.
that's an interesting take because
Yeah.
Gonzaga's not a very big school, and they weren't.
Right. But they always make the tournament. They're always. You remember a couple of years ago, no one could beat Gonzaga, and they got beat. You know, they always get in there. Everybody puts all their fucking money on them, and they always fucking lose. It's like going to watch highlight. You know, and
You
that
can
guy,
pretty- you
you're
can
betting
pretty
on number
much-
4 the whole time, and number 4 drops the ball once you put big money on him. You know what I'm saying?
But you can pretty
yeah.
much, you can pretty much expect them to be in the Sweet 16.
Right, but I'm talking about winning the whole fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Because as it goes on in these pools, you get at the farther a team goes and you pick them to win, you get more points.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So as you get to the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Four, you get more points if your team wins.
Yep.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't pick this to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if McNeese State beats them. That would not surprise me one bit. I don't think it's going
when
to
I
happen.
watched
But,
them,
you
I
know,
watched
I'm not a
them
professional
play-
handicapper.
I watched them play St. Mary's. And St. Mary's was definitely a better team. I didn't see a lot of really good players on that Gonzaga team. And usually that's what sets people apart. So we have one good
Right.
player, everybody else is really good at whatever they do. But the one player kind of sets them apart, and I don't see that player on Gonzaga this year. I don't. They don't have one. So you could be right. I mean, that makes them beatable and more vulnerable.
It's very likely that I'm right.
Mm.
I think we should just assume that I'm always right.
Well, if we assume that, then you would have won the last 2 tournament challenges.
Hey, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it's not my fault that you cheat. Okay, it's not my fault. That is not my fault that you cheat.
I don't cheat.
You use the bracket predictor.
No, I don't.
You know,
and you're just on record saying the bracket predictor doesn't work.
No, I'm saying if somebody uses the bracket predictor, they're cheating.
Okay.
That's what I said. Don't use the bracket predictor. Mama D's out there going, "What's the bracket predictor?"
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, I had a friend that picked. Had their dog pick the piece of food on whichever one laid it out and said, "Okay, that one wins." So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you guys know who Rick Neuheisel is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a football coach, and now he's a commentator. He got fired from Washington for Washington, for filling out a bracket and going into a pool.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Seems
Yeah.
strange.
Gambling is they fired him for it.
Interesting.
It was like a big to do, but
Shouldn't be gambling
well, I mean, it's fun
if you're a coach, right?
right. But real quick, told one of our friends at Unfiltered Studios, we gave him a shout out. He's having a big episode on Thursday. So if you want to tune in to Movie Lovers Unite on Thursday for an upcoming interview, John over at Movie Lovers Unite will be interviewing director-writer Richard Elfman and actress Anastasia Elfman for their horror film Bloody Bridget. Sounds interesting. Richard Elfman is related to music composer Danny Elfman, who composed movies for Batman, Batman Returns, Edward Scissorhands. Bloody Bridget is about a Haitian voodoo deity that transforms a burlesque dancer into a Valentine vampire. Blood only whets her appetite, and she must eat her victims' beating hearts to survive. That sounds like a winner right there. Yeah, you need a Bloody Bridget will be premiering Saturday, March 23rd, 8:15 p.m. at the Northwest Film Forum Theater in Seattle, Washington. Rush right out, all of our listeners. We're big in Seattle. We're huge in the Northwest, and we understand that it's 7 o'clock over there right now. So rush right out, all you Seattleans or Seattleites, and stop crying that you don't have Russell Wilson anymore and the Seahawks blow. But rush right over and see Bloody Bridget. Yeah, it seems like a good flick. You go rush right over, Beeps.
No.
Not a horror film fan.
Yeah, not really in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, but that is really cool that they're interviewing Mr. Elfman. And Miss Elfman, I guess. Yeah, that's really cool. Anyhow, I told them we give them a shout out to everybody. Go check out Movie Lovers Unite. It's a really good podcast.
Yeah. Yep, they're doing great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And good luck with that interview. I know they're going to do great. So, anything else to say, fellas?
St.
Am I
Joe.
frozen? Okay.
Is St.
No.
Joe frozen?
No, he's there.
So, St. Joe, what did you do on your holidays?
I went to a Bangkok.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you
Gotcha.
like that, big boy.
Well, you like at the pad thai, you like at the Bangkok.
Well, we want to thank our 5 listeners tonight, and thank
No
you
one
for
said a
all
word.
all the comments that you put in the comment section. Maybe their keyboard is broken.
Oh, boy.
And
They could be commenting on Twitter. Did anyone drop in to check there?
No. And it's not that I'm not paying attention; it's that I just don't care.
Oh, boy.
And so we're sitting there, but we did add a new show to the Unfiltered Studios podcast network this week.
Yeah.
Do tell.
Yeah, the Chronicles of a Virgo.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I met a Virgo once in high school.
Okay.
Alrighty then. So go listen to that. Yeah.
Kev wants to say so many more things. He
Yeah.
can't.
He's really trying not to, but he's doing great.
Yeah, so go listen to that. And Beebs,
What?
I meant to ask you, are we actually going to get a Finding Your Way this week? Or,
It's in the contract.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. I'll flip a coin and maybe it'll happen. How about
You
that?
should do it on St. Joseph Day.
On
That's
St.
what-
Joseph's Day.
yeah, because if I did, I really wanted to do a stupid history minute on it, but I couldn't do it. It just, I'll make some people mad, But
Yeah, you will.
because there are some people that know that I'm joking, but there are some people that take that shit real seriously, and I don't want to. We have this program for me to piss the masses off. I don't need 2 programs to do it on. One's enough.
Indeed. One is
Yeah.
enough.
So, but anyhow, Finding Your Way. I know Nailed It's going to be there. I mean, are you going to steal my music this week or,
Nope.
You want me to send you a stupid history minute music?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you can be a guest and I'll only have a minute-long podcast.
I'll be in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but, yeah. Anyhow, so for go listen to our friends at unfpod.com, and next time you listen to us, why don't you be a cool person and leave a comment and just say
Oh,
hi.
boy. Here we
Yeah,
go.
because
Now you're pissing off the 5 listeners.
Yeah, whatever. Anyhow, for St. Joe, for Beast, my name is the Kev. We'll catch you guys next week.
We'll catch you on the flippity flop.